In today's video, I'm going to break down for you my productivity hacks workbook. Hi, I'm Sam Nordberg. Welcome to this week's mini training, and this week we are talking all things productivity. That's it. We are talking about my productivity hacks workbook. Now, the productivity hacks book is completely free to download. It's on my website. I will leave a link in the description box below for you. So if you don't have a copy already, you can go grab one. Just stick your email address in. I'll send you the workbook. It'll be easy to do. But in the meantime, what I wanted to do for you was break down the core content. Now, this might seem kind of silly because then you might think, why do you need to go and download it? And you know what? You don't have to if you don't want to. But I wanted to break down for you the information inside it and why I gave you these guides, why I gave you this information. Because otherwise what I find is people just go and download it, they never read it, or if they do read it, maybe they're not really sure why I said it. Anyway, all going on here today. So if you haven't got a copy, go grab one. If not, you can go grab one afterwards, but this is what's inside. So first of all, the first thing I taught you guys is about using a to-do list book. A to-do list book is simply, rather than having multiple to-do lists, it's one book where you put everything in one place. I use a series of to-do list books sometimes, but I'm going to grab this one for you because I think you should see it. Should have been more organized for this, really, shouldn't I? I use a really big to-do list book now, so this is my one. It's just a giant notepad. It's one of those ones with dividers. Each of the dividers is separated into a different business or a different area because I run a training organization and I run my own blog and I run a whole heap of stuff. So it's all broken down in here. Anyway, the concept of a to-do list book is there because otherwise what I find is people have a whole heap of different stuff going on and they make a list over here and a list over here and an Evernote thing over here, and then what you do is you end up in huge overwhelm because you've got 20 lists in 20 different places. You've lost one, you've put one down, you've got one somewhere else, and now you don't know what's going on. By having a to-do list book, you put everything in one place. Now, it doesn't need to be this big. You might want to carry around something much smaller, like a little notepad. You might want to carry down just an A5 little book. It's up to you. You might want to put it in a file rather than carry it around physically, although I'm all for having physical notepads. But you do what works for you. But the moral of the story is pick one place, and that one place is where you write your to-do lists and nowhere else. Put everything in that one place. Then, inside that one place, break each of those lists or break things down into one list per page per subject matter. So, for example, I have a page in there for a certain type of business, or I have a page in there for a certain project, or I'll have a page in there just for things around the house. What that means is if you get time to work on something, you're going to sit down and you're going to pull out the list that is relevant to that thing, and you're going to work through that list of only things that are relevant. Otherwise, what happens is you've got a list with everything on it. You're going to sit down, you're going to feel overwhelmed, you're going to jump from place to place, and you're not going to get anywhere very fast. So a to-do list book is about making lists that are specific to one area and keeping all your lists in one place. Honestly, that thing saved my life like countless times, so worth doing. Next thing I talk about inside the productivity hacks workbook, that's difficult to say, is being mono-focused. Mono-focused is simply about doing one thing at a time. And the reason I tell you guys this is because I know that I get so much more done if I focus on one thing. You can tell, come and have a look at my laptop one time. The more tabs I have open, the less productive I am being. And I promise you that, that's the same every time. So the less tabs I have open, the more productive I am being. If I have one tab open, I am being super productive because I am just working on that one thing. It's key to getting anything done. One of the best ways to be monofocused is to pick one task and to work on it till complete. The other thing about being monofocused is you need to focus. That means you need to take away the ability to jump between different tasks. That even means listening to music. So I like to listen to music while I work. I'd normally listen to YouTube and a whole heap of different stuff. What I find though is I'd be jumping back to YouTube because I'd want to see what was going on the screen at that point, or because the video had finished and I'd want to skip the ad or jump to the next video, or I'd want to change the video because the one that was coming next wasn't what I wanted. You get the moral of the story. Truth is, as much as I was being mono-focused, as in I was only working on one thing, I wasn't being mono-focused at all because I was jumping between things all the time. I use an app called Focus at Will. Again, I'll leave the descriptions, or I'll leave the links in the description box down below for you. It's a website that's built music designed to help you increase your focus and productivity. It is a subscription-based purchase, but it's by far the best thing I bought to increase my productivity levels. If I've got something to do, I set the timer on Focus at Will, I pick the soundtrack I want to listen to, I plug my headphones in, and I just disappear. I'm gone for 30 to 45 minutes. I don't look up from the screen. I type like a maniac, and before I know it, the timer is gone. I've achieved an incredible amount of work, and it really didn't take me very long to do. So Focus at Will. The next thing that we talk about inside the Productivity Hacks Workbook is brain dumping. So if you're the kind of person who feels like they've always got a lot going on and they just can't see where their next step forward is, the best thing, the thing I like to do is to brain dump. It's the process of getting a really large bit of paper or a blank document and just writing down everything you can think of, everything that's on your mind, everything that's running around in circles. It might be as simple as, crap, I got to go to the shops and get milk, to I really want to do this new website, big or small, old or new, something that's really important or not important, it doesn't matter. In a brain dump, nothing gets priority. You just put everything on paper. The reason you do that is to clear space in your head to allow you to think. But the other reason you do that is because it's a really good way then to see what is relevant and what is not relevant. So once it's on the brain dump, you have the ability to just cross things out. If you look at that and you're like, why am I even worried about that? That's not a thing. Just cross it out. For me, one of the things that then always happens is on my brain dump, I come across writing a book. I feel like I should write a book maybe at some point. I've talked about it lots. It's been on my to-do list maybe for like a year and a half. Truth is, I hate writing. It's kind of why I video for you guys. I detest writing, and I really don't want to write a book at any point in time. So whenever I brain dump and it comes out as something that's like on my mind, I just cross it out. Like, what's the point? Why does it keep bugging me? I'm not doing it right now. What does it even matter? So the brain dump, you can cross out things that aren't relevant. The other thing you can do then is take the things on there that are relevant, and then you can start to schedule them. So you take them off the brain dump, you put them back in that to-do list book, you organize them by type, you put a time for them in your calendar. But you can't do any of that stuff if you can't work out what's going on in your head first. So brain dumping is handy. Once you've got all those long lists, the next thing in the book we talk about is outsourcing and delegating. Now, we talk about this across both work and your home life, but the moral of the story is you don't have to do everything. And in fact, it's impossible for you to do everything. We talk about a whole different range of outsourcing and delegating, from actually hiring someone like a VA or a PA, to working with someone like a business partner, to getting someone just to help out around the house, to hiring a cleaner. We talk about all sorts of things. We talk about everything from free help to paid help and sort of the temp jobs in between. And I do that because I want to be realistic with you guys. It's great. I know I watch all these productivity hacks things and they're like, oh, just outsource everything. Well, that's great. You're going to pay for that, right? You're going to pay someone else to do that job. And if you're not bringing in the income you want yet, then just paying for someone else to do it isn't going to help you at all. So in the book, or in the workbook, we talk about the difference between what you can do that's free, what you can do that's paid, other ways you can look at strategizing between delegating and outsourcing that's not necessarily you hiring an employee, because I understand that you're not always at that position yet. And if you're not, there are some other options you can look at. Next thing, we talk about time blocking and scheduling. This is about allocating certain times in your day for doing certain things. Now, as I mentioned in the book, I have a love-hate relationship with this concept. My days are pretty manic. I own a training company. I do this stuff. I have 2 kids. I have a stepson. I have an ex-husband who's also a operations manager. I have a new partner. We're getting married in a couple of weeks. We're getting married fairly soon. Like, I got a lot going on. And so time blocking and scheduling, I find, doesn't always work for me because life is so manic that even if I've time blocked it or scheduled it, sometimes it just doesn't happen anyway. But the reason that I taught you about it in the book is because it is a good way to allocate time. If you've blocked out a block of time to do something, then the likelihood is even if you don't do it, you'll schedule time for it later. So, for example, I picked one day a quarter and I blocked out that entire day for video recording. I planned all my content in advance. I sat down with a webcam and I made sure I could record video and just get it done. The reason I blocked out that time is because I knew if I didn't, it wouldn't happen. The upside of that is if something had come up that day, maybe one of the kids was sick, maybe the webcam broke, whatever it was, it wouldn't matter because what I'd do is I'd just schedule that for the next day or the next week. But at least it would go into the schedule. It wouldn't just be one of those things I would get to one day. So time blocking and scheduling, as much as I might not always agree with it, and as much as I might think my life is a little too manic to make it work, it saves me a whole heap of hassle when I know I've got something dedicated, and if I don't get it, I'll fit it in later. One of the last concepts we talk about in the book then is the concept of decluttering. This is both physical and digital. I find that if you don't have a great system for something, if you don't have a great organized system for something, then you're going to lose a whole lot of time fluffing around and trying to find something. I'm all one for physical decluttering. I like things to be a certain way, my desk's organized a certain way, my drawers are organized a certain way, and that's great. But what I didn't realize until recently was that my digital space was not the same. My digital filing system was dump it on the desktop and find it later, which, as opposed to my physical life, if you look at it, is the complete opposite. Like, my drawers are, are KonMari'd to the max. But my digital life wasn't. And what I found was I was losing a whole heap of time going through trying to find files, trying to find videos, trying to edit videos. I'd be like, oh, I need that image, but I couldn't find the image because I hadn't saved it in the same folder. Like, it was all over the place. I was losing a whole heap of really valuable time just because I was always looking for something. I'd saved it in a safe place, you know, that safe place, or I dumped it somewhere, or it was still in the downloads folder with an obscure title like 0084 something something because I'd never bothered to retitle it, and I was losing time, lots and lots of time. So taking a moment to really go through and sort out my digital filing has made my life a hell of a lot easier. It all goes a lot smoother, and in terms of getting more done, that was the best way for it. Now, look, guys, the reason I shared this productivity hack stuff with you is not because I expect you to be productive all the time. Whether you know it or not, A, you know, kids and life and whatever else takes up a whole heap of my time, but B, I'm a big Xbox player. Like, I'd spend hours with the kids playing Minecraft. I spend hours by myself playing Minecraft, let's be honest. I'm a big Xbox player, and I don't believe in being productive all the time. I do believe in a heap of downtime. I really enjoy the downtime, but to do that, I have to get my work done efficiently. I want to squeeze as much work as I can into the smallest time frame possible in my day. That means I get a whole heap of content done, I get a whole heap of stuff recorded, I get a whole heap of information out there, I sign up new clients, but I don't spend 12, 16 hours a day working because I don't want to. I have no desire to. And that's what the Productivity Hacks Workbook is for. So if you haven't done so already, go download the workbook, have a look at it. I really hope it helps you. I'd love to hear from you down below. Let me know if you have got it. What did you like about it? What works for you? And even if you haven't got it, what works for you productivity-wise? What makes you more productive? What helps you get more done in your day? Because I'd really like to hear from you. I hope you enjoyed the Productivity Hacks video. Of course, as I said, if you haven't done so already, make sure you go grab the workbook. Link is down in the description box below for you, so you can go and grab one too. But while you're here, best thing you can do is subscribe to my channel. You'll get weekly mini training videos once a week. Subscribers on YouTube get the video content first because it goes live here before it goes on the blog or out to anyone else. So make sure you've hit subscribe so you can see them too. That's it for this week, but as always, guys, I will see you in the next video.